My name is Lauren Williams, and we chose the company Spotify. Spotify was developed in 2006 by a group of people in Stockholm, Sweden. The founders of the company are Daniel Ek and Martin Lorenzo. Spotify is a way to stream over 35 million songs, videos, and podcasts. The initial launch of the company came on October 7th, 2008. However, they were considered a startup company for 9 years after the launch. The company has over 4,000 employees and generates over $5 billion in annual revenue. Spotify is used in over 60 different countries and has over 150 million users. And now enjoy a brief video about Spotify.
I'm Davidson, and I'm going to talk about the diagnosis. The issues within Spotify include concerns about payments between artists and the company, the lack of customer service, having a large revenue with little earnings, an excess in the volume of ads, the difficulty to cancel a subscription, and finally, the lack of radio options they provide on their app. The two issues we decided to focus on include the lack of a customer service department and the loss of earnings compared to revenue. So first is the lack of customer service and no call center. This leads to a decrease in membership. In class, we talked about the value chain management and the role it played in giving a business an advantage over their competitors. Not having a help center available displays a failure to successfully utilize the customer service function of the value chain management. The customer service function comes with customer relationship management. However, Spotify will never reach that point if they do not establish a foundation with their customers. If a customer does not feel satisfied and fulfilled after dealing with a company representative, they would not feel a reason to remain with that company. Spotify has created a considerable problem for themselves by not having a help center available for their customers. Most successful companies have a call center that customers can call and receive help if they are experiencing problems with the product or service. A 24-hour help center on call would be the ideal situation, but it is unnecessary. Without the call center, the customers have no one to turn to when experiencing a problem. This issue needs to be addressed rapidly, or else Spotify will suffer the consequences. The second problem we decided to focus on for this project involves the loss of earnings compared to the significant gains in revenue. This issue proposes the question of whether or not there is possibility for financial growth for Spotify in the future. This problem shows a lack of proper money management and the failure to utilize their income effectively. A company can receive billions of dollars in revenue, but if their earnings total only a few $million, then there is a serious problem with where that money is going. It can be a problem of paying the executives an unnecessary salary. As a class, we discussed how planning and strategy play a significant part in the success of a business. This particular problem expresses a lack of strategy by the CEO. The CEO in this case is Daniel Ek. He's not utilizing his resources to achieve the goals his team set in the planning process of starting the company. Both of the issues we decided to focus on possess the potential to ruin Spotify as a business. Their competitors are using core ideas and practices to run their companies, while Spotify is attempting to use too much creativity and take too many chances. Apple Music, Pandora, SoundCloud, Amazon Music, and Shazam are all finding ways to provide service to their customers and turn their revenue into real earnings. These two issues are the largest management issues within Spotify and need to be addressed and fixed for the company to remain in business. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jordan New, and I'm going to be discussing the solutions to Spotify's management concerns. To begin with, the issue of high revenues compared to low earnings every quarter is a standout issue that needs the most attention. To resolve this issue, we had to identify the problem that caused it, which happened to be from lawsuits from publishing firms that stand for artists such as Tom Petty, The Doors, and Rage Against the Machine. That publishing company is Wixen, and they won their lawsuit against Spotify, totaling $1.6 billion. This has been a recurring issue since Spotify was a startup company. The number of artists they pay, as well as the amount they get paid per stream, is considerably lower than the competition's. Apple Music, for instance, pays artists $6.40 per 1,000 streams, while Spotify only pays $3.80 for the same 1,000 streams. This is a staggering difference, and this is where they can improve. By increasing the number of artists they pay, as well as increasing the amount they are paid, they could possibly eliminate lawsuits in the future. The projections for 2019 have their revenues around $6 billion. If the trend continues, they will lose almost half of that to lawsuits. Also, to increase revenue, they could eliminate the free version of the app, which has been seen as an advantage compared to its competitors since they only offer it for free. If they were to do this, they would lose some of their subscribers, but not all, since the competition is also not free. Spotify makes 90% of their profits from their premium member subscription. If they stay on the trend and continue to focus on the increasing number of premium accounts, they will also increase their earnings as a byproduct as long as they can stay out of the lawsuits. Moving on to the next issue of customer service. There's very little customer support options for Spotify. Many customers who try to cancel their premium plans have difficulties. An easy solution would be to implement a call center focused on customer needs, as well as store locations where people could physically walk in and get their situations dealt with. Moving on to the action behind these solutions, here is Taylor.
I'm Taylor, and we're going to talk about our first action plan. So for our first action plan, Spotify will raise their prices for $1 for every premium plan offered, including the special plan, which would include the college plan, which is cheaper than the regular plan. Then everyone that is currently listening to our free membership will be informed that we will no longer have the free membership, and so a way to inform them of that is giving them a leeway. So what we're going to do is give them a free 30-day trial that they can see if they will like and decide if they want to sign up for our premium prices. And then people that have not signed up for the Spotify premium after our 30-day trial will get a $2 discount for the first 2 months. That way we are still trying to convince them to still join Spotify. And then we are going to make an all-access plan where Spotify includes Netflix for $17.99 a month. And this will give people a bigger incentive for paying more to get more, because Spotify also has Hulu when you sign up for their Spotify premium plan. So now they'll have Spotify, Hulu, and Netflix, which will give them more of an advantage to want people to sign up. Then for our second plan, we will evaluate the current organization chart for Spotify, and then by doing that, we're going to look at the areas of growth within each section. The customer service needs to be more personable and reachable for the listeners, which was one of the biggest complaints that they had. So we want to make sure that everyone is getting the exact thing that they want when they're talking to their customer service. And then we're going to hire an outside analyzer to create a new and revitalized chart based on the current state of the customer service section of Spotify. And then we are going to, with the revenue from the first action plan of adding more the dollar, we are going to plan, will properly redistribute the customer service section of Spotify as a way to accommodate to the executive board. And now we're going to talk about the evaluation.
Hi, my name is Alex Schneider, and I'm going to do the evaluation. So to properly determine the success of the solutions and actions, we have decided to implement several measures in several areas. We will measure the level of success by collecting data from multiple entities, internally and externally. After implementing the action, we will look internally at Spotify's quarterly revenues. This will determine whether or not revenues have increased, decreased, or remained the same. An increase in revenues clearly is going to be the ultimate goal of this action. By looking at quarterly revenues, we will be able to determine if our action plan is successful after just 3 months. This will give us a better chance to adjust our plan accordingly for Spotify's ultimate success before the year's end. As a second way of determining whether or not our first action plan for Spotify was successful, we will analyze the number of subscriptions of Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, SoundCloud, and Shazam. We will hope to find an increase in the number of subscribers. An increase in the number of subscribers would be the ideal outcome for this action. Even if the number of subscribers to premium remains the same, the fact that the prices are being raised for premium service will ensure an increase in revenue. By analyzing the subscriptions of the competitors of Spotify, we will be able to determine if our subscribers are switching their provider after the change in premium prices. This will help us to determine if the price change has deterred Spotify's customers from continuing to subscribe to their product. In an effort to make Spotify's customer service sector more personable, we have decided to hire an outside analyzer to make a new organization chart for Spotify. We will determine how effective this action is going to be to the customers. Customer survey, straight to the customers. Customer surveys are going to be our number one tactic for the evaluation of the effectiveness of the implementation action to improve the customer service sector of Spotify. Customer surveys will give us the opportunity to accurately evaluate how much our action plan has improved Spotify's customer services. The surveys will be distributed in a variety of ways. The first way will be at the end of phone calls with each and every customer service representative. At random times, Spotify will send out customer service surveys to each subscriber's email. The survey will be brief with the hopes that the majority of people will take the time to complete it. With this data, we will be able to determine whether or not we need to re-evaluate our implementation of our actions for improving Spotify's customer service.
In conclusion, our team was able to analyze the management issues of the music streaming service Spotify. Our team was also able to identify 2 key problems within their management system and come up with possible solutions to mitigate the damages of these problems. If Spotify were to implement our solutions, they would witness an increase in revenue as well as a rise in customer satisfaction. The company would also be able to reduce the number of lawsuits filed against them and save money. Our team is hopeful that Spotify will implement our solutions to become a more successful company.
And for the actions of the solutions, here is Taylor.
Are you ready?
No, because so.
Are you ready now?